But I also, my family was in the business too, still is in the jewelry business for over 100 years. And so I started working at my family's company at the same time that I was getting my master's at RISD. And that scale of jewelry was like this. And it was also not art at all. It was lockets and crosses and tags and things that, you know, we thought of as jewelry when we were, 13. So, so I was sort of torn because jewelry was like art, but I was also learning this industry and also learning that to have a career in art, you had to, as Richard said, you kind of have to have your bread and butter. You have to have something to provide for your family. And I was also beginning to think about a family at some point. And so I started to really listen to my sisters and my friends who critiqued my jewelry from RISD, which looked like, maybe radiator parts. That's my mother calls it. But it was really cool because we used copper and enamel and things that you don't really think jewelry are made of. And so your whole concept of jewelry, like some of those sculptures that are just been put up today, my jewelry was sort of like some of those things out there. And they were big, and somebody might make a pendant that was, this big, or a necklace that was made out of, matchbooks or something like that. So I felt fortunate to have both the sort of real life, what you would see in a jewelry store aspect of jewelry and the art aspect of jewelry, and they came together for me, and I stuck with the industry, and really just spent a long time trying to update this manufacturing business, which was my family business, and try to get them to see that there were other forms of jewelry besides lockets and crosses that people would like. And at the same time, in the jewelry world, people began to learn that you could have 18 karat and you could have something other than a ruby or a diamond and an emerald, that there were other beautiful stones available and materials. So it all coincided with me introducing my own line at the company, and it worked really well. And that's where I ended up. So now I have my own business. I'm in a partnership with actually 4 other people. And part of that is that there's a manufacturing facility behind. It's not just a little studio, because we reproduce jewelry on sort of a, large scale. I mean, not thousands of pieces, but, it can be hundreds of pieces of the same thing sold across the country. So the manufacturing facility is part of where I work also. And I do think it's also really important to include the family. And I had 3 kids along the way, and one of them's here. And hopefully he might come to Middlebury. I was thinking about it. And so I'm just going to show you some things now.
When you say you do maybe hundreds, they're not handmade. Those are the things that are in the hundreds are manufactured
In the
molds or
at the company. I will make all the first prototypes right in the factory, and work with the stones and the model maker, and then the parts are cast. It's the same ancient process that we've been using forever, lost wax casting, but then they are all hand finished. So it's a combination of the handwork that I learned at RISD and the manufacturing processes that are known for mass producing things. the top, each of my jewelry is sort of divided up into collections, and the collections are all, they're based on colors and textures and different stones, all of which come from different things in nature. The places that I've traveled have sometimes specific symbols that they have in their traditions. I also spent some time in Africa, which I found just sort of mind-boggling in a lot of ways. And the spirals mostly started from Africa, from the Maasai tribe, even though these spirals don't look so much like theirs. So then there are some other things. So the top collection is called New Grange, which there's also a spiral in a place called New Grange in Ireland. And it's on an ancient cave. And it's basically the light, the only light into this tunnel in the cave in New Grange. So this collection is called Shirako, and that's basically the winds and the desert sands, and it's an abstraction that the spiral is a little like the wind, and the patterns in the sand. This collection is called Verona, and I have to travel to Italy. Well, I don't have to. But I get to. It's actually one of the really fun trips that I take. The Italians have always been really well known for their talent in metalsmithing and jewelry. And so the show there, it basically, I get to go and see the big jewelry show and see all the contemporary jewelry. And oftentimes the trends hit there maybe 2 years before they hit here. So we can see what we might want to take part in terms of a trend. But in Italy, there's this special spot that I like to go draw from. It's like 200 stairs up, and it overlooks the city. So I see all these rooftop tiles all the time. So that's where the Verona collection came from. This one is from the